Did you know you can sponsor your favorite podcast on the Spin Market Podcast Network? Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Stockdale, host of the Spin Market Report. In the past year, our podcasts have had over 20,000 total streams, and our YouTube channels have had over 1 million views. Whether you're promoting a product, service, or event, we'll help you reach the audience that matters. Get more information on how to sponsor a podcast at spinmarketwith2ks.com. Spin Market. Your business, your message, our platform.
It's the Spin Market Report. Here's your host, Peter Stockdale.
We are back. It's Marketing Monday.
Yes, the second time this year?
Sure. I don't know. I'm a little off on my, maybe the third.
Oh, third.
Yeah, I don't know. It's we're recording ahead of time. It's one of those pitfalls of recording a little bit before the episode comes out. But I'd rather have it this way than trying to keep up with the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. So we're sitting down with Sadie Andersen this week. Sadie, you are the event manager and co-owner of the Laramar Ballroom right here in Fort Dodge, which is a legendary ballroom. Could you introduce yourself a little bit better than that? Maybe in your own words, who is Sadie Andersen?
I would say busybody of the Laramar. I'm also a real estate agent with Legacy Realty here in Fort Dodge, just kitty corner from you guys. So
Good plug.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how did you get started? I guess I don't know how you get started in the hospitality industry. Did you go to school for it?
I did not. I have really no formal education, just a lot of work experience. So I started off when I was 14. I was a hostess at Village Inn, and I really liked just interacting with people. So I kind of continued to do things in the service industry. Worked at a lot of bars, restaurants, that sort of thing. I worked at Riverside for 8 years. And then I went to school for hair.
Okay.
So I got my cosmetology license, and I didn't really like cutting and coloring, but I loved weddings. So that kind of leads into that. And real estate had always been a passion of mine, so I decided to also get my real estate license. So when I was approached with the opportunity by Chris O'Brien and Joe Toole, they own Webster Glass, and they are the founding owners of the Laramar. So they kind of came up with the idea to, renovate this building. And I was super excited about it just because renovations, that's of course a huge thing for me, but also I'm like weddings. Like I've been to hundreds of wedding venues throughout my hair and makeup career. And I never really thought like, oh, you could actually own one day, you could actually run one, you could design the whole thing. So when that opportunity arose, I was like, yeah, I'll join the ownership group, but if I'm going to do it, I want to be a part of the entire process. Like not just one of those people who throws money out and says, oh, have fun. No, I'm like all in. So yeah, it was a really fun experience.
That's kind of cool to hear how, like, again, I don't have hair, let alone much to do with the cosmetology, but it's kind of fun to hear that, like, I guess I just thought like, oh, you're going to cut people's hair or whatever, but you actually like would go to these events and help people with their hair, weddings and things like that, makeup, etc. And that's kind of what led you down this path. Kind of one of those happenstance things. Might not have been what you wanted to do forever, but it led you down to the path of what you're doing now.
Absolutely.
That's super cool. So can you share a brief history of the Laramar? Maybe broad stroke the olden days, the previous 90 years up until when you guys took over there.
So it was built in 1904, originally as the Fort Dodge Armory, and the Chamber of Commerce, I believe, also. And they actually paid $5,000 to build the building, which to me, after doing this renovation process, I'm like, that didn't cover, I think, a single bill that we had throughout that. But hey, that's great. Wish we could have renovated back in those times. But then after it was the Armory, Larry and Margaret Gear bought it in 1938. And they actually had a series of ballrooms. So not only did they have the Laramar, they had the Expo Ballroom and then another one, which I cannot recall the name of. But the Laramar was kind of their baby. It was very important to them. And they actually combined their names. So Promontoe, I think is how you say it.
Portmanteau.
Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, you nailed it. Good enough. Yeah.
So good. But they combined their two names, and that's how we came up with Laramar, as Larry and Margaret. So
I absolutely love that, because when I was making these questions, I was like, how did this even get its name? And I even made sure to put it in here because I'm like, this is really, really cool, actually.
So it was also the Plamor Ballroom and the Twilight Ballroom. And I think the Twilight Ballroom also, those owners had it for quite an extensive period of time. But it switched a lot of hands over the years between that, just as random little things. I think it was Creative Concepts at one time and then back to the Laramar. So in my age, I knew it as kind of just a giant dive bar. You know, it was not exactly the best place to go in town there for a while. And so when they approached me about it, I'm like, we have to change the name, right? And they're like, no, we can't change the name. I'm like, are you sure? I mean, it kind of has a reputation. They're like, how about you do some Google searches tonight? And then you decide if you want to change the name. And so I did that. I did my research, and then I'm like, okay, we can't change the name because we've had so much music history there. I mean, it's insane.
I don't think our community, majority of them, understand the amount of music and talent and notoriety that has gone through the Laramar over the years.
Yes. I actually grew up, I mean, when I was 8 years old, my favorite movie was La Bamba, which tells the story of Richie Valens. And never in a million years did I know there was any connection between him and Vordage, or that I would one day end up owning a venue that he played at, which is super cool.
Yeah, it was the second to last venue he played at. Yes. Yep. So for those that don't know, that's the Big Bopper, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens Plane Crash was the night after they played in Fort Dodge, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Well, 2 nights. They took a really odd route, and they actually went to, I believe it's either Minnesota or Wisconsin in between.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in between the Clear Lake Ballroom. So,
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
kind of strange, but yes.
Yeah, it's got that, there's something there that just, if you didn't know, now you know. But I did actually went online and looked up, and this is not all of them. I just wrote down some of the big ones, but as far as people who have played at the Laramar Ballroom, in one capacity or another, maybe you know some of these people. So Johnny Cash, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, Big Bopper, Duke Ellington, Jimi Hendrix, believe it or not, played at the Laramar Ballroom once.
Yes, in a band.
Loverboy, Foghat, Blue Oyster Cult, the Everly Brothers, Louis Armstrong, Lawrence Welk was another one that I found, which is I grew up watching Lawrence Welk when I was a kid. You know, you'd go over to your grandparents' house and they'd have Lawrence Welk on all the bubbles and stuff, and I don't know. It's just kind of cool that that's right here in town. Here.
Yes, in our downtown district.
One other one that people always forget about is Waylon Jennings. He played with Richie Valens, the Big Bopper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, during that time frame, that was part of their tour. So he actually played there as well.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So there's one. I don't know if any of my band members are listening to this. They're probably going to be giving me the shame because I didn't mention that one. But
no, that's all right. A lot of people don't realize it.
And so let's talk about recent updates. So it's passed down, from one person to the next, maybe a name change, maybe it goes back, but you guys eventually kind of, are now the owners. And what are some of the renovations you guys did to the place?
Oh, we did a lot. So I've had a lot of people just walk in and want a tour because they met their significant other there, or they spent a lot of weekends dancing there as a kid, whatever circumstance. They walk in and they're always just blown away because it looks completely different. And that's when you used to walk through the front door, it was very low ceilings, kind of blocked off. There was this big glass block surround of the staircase that you could not see through to the ballroom. And so we really wanted to open that up and open up the ceiling and just make it more of a wow factor to that ballroom. So we raised the ceiling height, we knocked out that glass block wall and put in a glass surround around the staircase, and then a nice big chandelier to make it, really pop. I wanted it to be something that was very telling of the time of the building, but also modern enough that people would want to use it, because a lot of times if you put too much history into it, then people are like, oh, it's old, it's outdated. We're over it.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
And then we improved the bar area for functionality. It was all kind of set back in the southwest corner of the building, and we decided to kind of reroute it because it wasn't very functional. Have walk-up access from the ballrooms. That way people could just easily walk up and get a drink, instead of, there used to be this very large area that, depending upon what event it was back in the day, that would be kind of an area that would start a little bit of, it would start fights.
Yeah.
Because it's you didn't really know where the line was to get to the bar. People are intoxicated, and then it just kind of stirred up issues. So we're like, we're going to reroute this. And
I'm sure if that's once you get a bunch of people in there
Yeah.
too, it just creates that. It's just kind of a mucky mess over there.
Yes.
So rerouting everything kind of probably helped out quite a bit,
Definitely.
at least for the ease of the bartenders too,
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's nice and quick. It's very efficient. We can serve a large amount of people very quickly. And then we also have the south side of the bar, which is more of a cocktail lounge space. So we have a breakaway area. So if the band's, sometimes people love live music, but they don't like to be right inside of it, then you can kind of break away and go in that space too.
I love that area too. Super cool looking. You got that neat Laramar.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like a poster. It's almost like printed onto the wall there. That's really kind of cool. So also really good for photo ops for people. I've seen a lot of people sit down there and take photos around there. It's really kind of a cool area.
Yeah. I tried to plug in some marketing tools that were kind of hidden, that people would just automatically be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, or it's so cute, and I just want to take a picture with it. Another thing is our bathrooms. I was very big on, I don't know why, but I don't like to go to places and then you walk inside their bathroom and you're like, ooh, maybe this wasn't the best decision, because sometimes bathrooms can get really nasty. So I wanted to have very nice bathrooms. I always try and keep extra perfume, dry shampoo, all of those things that you might need to freshen up, and that way then it's more of an experience, and people always talk about the bathrooms. That's one of the first comments I always get.
So as you do some of these enhancements to the building, we had talked about the one bar. It's easy to get in from the ballroom side, or you can have that little breakaway room. The bathroom's updated. I will say they look very nice. I agree with everything you guys have said. I mean, I get it. I'm just a guy, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to go into just a hole in the wall and just call it good enough. I like to, kind of feel like it's fancy in there too, to some extent. And it really kind of is. And so how have these updates that you've made impacted the overall business, whether or not you're bringing in, weddings or other events? Because I've been there for concerts and things too. What have people said about these things? Have they noticed?
They've definitely noticed.
Okay.
There's a lot of venues that you go to that, back to the bathroom issue, that a lot of times you can be waiting in line for a long amount of time because they don't have adequate, restroom facilities, or even bar size. Maybe they're not equipped to handle that amount of crowd.
Okay.
So that was a big thing for me, just being at other events in different places, different counties. I wanted to make sure that we were able to really pack a punch and make it a place that people are not spending their time in lines. They're spending their time out on that ballroom floor, because that is very important to me.
Absolutely. And another cool thing about this is you said you didn't go to school for any of this, but you have so much experience that it literally makes up for, whatever you didn't have in schooling. So I will say that to anybody listening, if you don't have any schooling in something, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try, because maybe your experience is actually going to be very valuable. I never would have thought about being like, oh, I've been in this building in this county, and I've been in that community center in this county, and I've been done a wedding in this church or this place or wherever it happens to be, and you get to see how every single one of them differs. That's so cool, because you get to see, I like this, let's bring it into my venue. I like this, let's bring it into my venue. I didn't like this, let's see if we can find a way to make sure that this doesn't make it to my venue. That's actually really kind of cool to pull on those past experiences and then, use them later in life, especially, at a place you're working at. So what types of events do you host? I know I mentioned a couple of them, but what types of events do you guys host there at the Laramar?
Weddings are a huge thing, obviously. And it's, kind of it was initially the whole structure of our business was to make sure that we had a solid wedding base. However, we're really, really starting to dive into the live music aspect. That's a big goal on our task list for this year. Is we really want to make a punch in the live music industry. We also do a lot of corporate events. Those are a lot of fun, especially Christmas parties, that sort of thing. It's a place that can have a really nice professional presence, but also you can have fun while you're there. It's not that stuffy. It's not like you're at a conference, but it's like you're, just kind of at a place that's a little bit nicer. You have, expectations to, keep it classy, but also you can have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you get these events that are going on there, what makes it so unique for like weddings? I know we had kind of described it on our way up to this question, but I guess I don't know. Are there any other wedding venues like in town? I don't really know what's in town. I've never been married, so I don't know. So but for people going to the receptions, I don't know what other places there are. What makes this place so unique? I'm assuming ballroom, obviously. I don't really know if there's another ballroom in the area even.
Well, it has a lot of versatility with it, where you're able to go in and totally change the atmosphere, the design, the acoustics. I mean, everything based on what type of event it is.
Yeah.
And just making some simple changes, and you don't even realize it's the same place that you were at maybe a couple weeks before that.
Yeah, so I try to keep color scheme very neutral, but also make it highlight the architecture of the building, if that makes sense. So the high ceilings, I tried to keep those nice and dark just to hide any imperfections since it's a 120-year-old building. But also, like we have the columns that I tried to do a different little bit of color scheme on just to give them a little pop and a little more definition. And then when we use uplighting and things like that, it really helps highlight those. But also the biggest thing that keeps us a little different in the Fort Dodge and Webster County wedding industry is that we offer a different style of experience when you come to book a wedding with us. So you don't just, hey, come have your wedding here. We have a package that includes all of your decor setup, myself or one of my other employees helping you throughout the day, coordinating for you. We kind of walk you through the planning process, ask questions. I'm always basically a 1-800 helpline. So, it's a little bit different in the aspect of it kind of combines the destination wedding feel, where you go and you show up and your wedding's done, and it's that very low-key, stress-free feel with being able to have all of your friends and family and not having to compromise that, not having to pay the travel fees, all of that. It kind of combines those two things and merges them pretty seamlessly so you can have the best of both worlds there.
I do like that a lot. You had mentioned how, keeping it neutral and maybe the ceilings are a little bit darker. The uplighting, I will say, I did. There's some things you've mentioned where it's like I walked in there, and I've been there for a handful of different things, including I've been there when it was empty, when there's nothing in there. And it is absolutely insane to see how you guys transform it. Like if you go in my office right now, there's like nothing on the walls except for a couple things I've taped there. Like nothing is fancy. So when I go into somewhere and somebody's fancied something up, it's like, oh, wow. I don't have a brain for it. I don't have an eye for it. It's just really kind of cool to see what you guys have done with the place. And it's wild to see how it differs from one to the next. Forgive me for making this comparison. It's not a community center where they just have wood tables and all folding chairs and they just put it in there and they're like, here we go, it's done. It's not that at all, like not even remotely. No. So that's one of the things I think that's super cool about it in the unique factor where depending on what you want out of how you want the building set up, you guys can help them and accommodate that. Do you guys provide ideas too? Is that part of your event planning where it's like, not only how many people come in without any ideas? Like
a lot.
Okay.
And that's my favorite kind of bride.
So I wouldn't be the only one.
Yeah.
You have a fresh page to be able to do everything.
Yes. That's my favorite kind of event to plan, I should say. Not even just for a bride. It's somebody who they're like, hey, I actually just sat down with a bride yesterday. She's like, I just want you to know that I think you're the best and I trust your vision 100%. This is my guideline. And then you just take it away. I'm like,
yay.
I love you. Yeah. It makes it so much easier when they trust, my vision. I do love the challenge of them being very specific about theirs just to see if that communication barrier is, if I'm able to break it and make sure that I can understand what they're wanting and understand, meet their needs basically. And when I have a bride that is happy at the end of the day, that's the best feeling. It makes it all worth it. Like my second wind is the bride coming up to me at the reception and telling me, this day's been absolutely perfect. I love everything. It looks beautiful in here. And then it's like, all right, well, now I can last until 2:00 in the morning. Yay.
Nice. That's funny. Because if you go back like 80 episodes, we had kind of covered this topic a couple times. Whereas, do you think it's easier if somebody gives you like a lot of direction or no direction? Because sometimes it's easier on both sides. Sometimes if they're like, I want this, 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 and this, and you're like, all right, follow directions. Here we go. It's done. But other times, like you said, if they were just like, I want these two things and everything else I'm kind of just up in the air about and I'll trust you, like that's also kind of fun. Do you ever feel like lost sometimes when people don't give you enough direction?
Sometimes. It depends upon the personality type. Like if I know that this bride or this, person hosting the event is a true blue laid back person, like they actually do not care. For instance, I met with one bride the week before her wedding. because she is busy. Like, she's got softball in the summer. She's got all this stuff going on. Like, and she's like, no, I mean, I told you I 100% trust you. I wanted pink in my wedding, and that's all I care about. And she's like, and her one non-negotiable was pub mix on the tables. And we made it happen. And it was one of the biggest weddings that we've ever had. And it was also one of the funnest, and she loved everything. She was super happy with it. And so I think it just depends upon personality type. If there's somebody who, you know, they don't want to give away too much, but they're also somebody who, you know, could, you know, maybe, you know, have a little bit more expectation, then I like to clarify, you know, I do like to have more. But then you get those certain people who are just like, no, we're just happy to be here. We're happy to have fun. Like, let's just make it happen. That would be me. The second half would be me. Yeah. I don't know what I want. Open bar, like that. Go. You know, I don't know.
Keep everybody happy.
Yeah. What's one of the most overlooked things then? What's something that when you're planning events, that people almost never bring up that you almost always bring up?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would say, honestly, probably how the night is going to actually run. Like, what are you honestly wanting out of the night? Are you wanting it to be super, super structured? Are you wanting it to be, you know, just fun? You know, because a lot of people put their planning aspects into everything leading up to it, but then they kind of forget about what happens after the doors open. You know, like, how do we honestly make the rest of the night flow? And that's something that I try to definitely touch base on, and that we put a lot more thought into, because I need to know, you know, are you wanting music playing, you know, what style of music playing right upon entrance, because it sets a tone for the rest of the night, you know. And I'm somebody, like, if it's a dinner seated event, like, I'm a classical, I want Frank Sinatra, I want Michael Bublé, I want, you know, like some Adele, like, I want that, like, very romantic style classic music. But you know, if it's something like, no, I want this to be a party, then we have to start in with like some of those like early 2000s, like pop hits and things like that, because that's going to set the tone for the rest of the night. So I think like just really structuring how things will go throughout the rest of the evening is a big deal. And at what point are you like, okay, this is fun time? You know, what time are you expecting, you know, people who really aren't interested in the party aspect to kind of dip out? And, you know, when do we kick on the fun time? That's when it becomes a rager.
I never thought about any of this. Again, I'm not an event planner, but like the way you said it was like after the doors open, then what? Like
Yes.
that's literally all I would have gotten to was like, yeah, just open the doors and let people come in. But it's like, what do you want them to do? Do you want to have like, this thing takes place at this time, and then this, and then we eat at this time, and then the bar is open at this, and then we're dancing at this. Yeah. I never would have thought of any of that stuff.
And that's like, so the food aspect and all that typically gets squared away pretty early in, but it's how you want it to feel. Like I'm a big person on, you don't want it to be awkward. You know, you don't want it to be too quiet. But you don't want it to be too loud. So I'm always very like, what kind of wedding reception are you, or what kind of party is this? Because if you're going to have the vibe of like, this is concert style, like I want it to be high energy the whole night, I can make that happen. I am a high energy person. But if you want it to be more relaxed and like classic and just, you know, have more of an ambiance, then we need to kind of create that. And then at what point does that change? You know, because that, I feel like music is a huge, huge part of any event. And it's something that people might not even notice, but anytime I walk into an event and they don't have any background noise on, I'm like, oh, we have to get some background music.
That makes a big difference.
Yes.
And your comment about you may not even really realize what kind of music is going on, but it sets the whole picture for the whole night.
And you might be in a conversation and you might be distracted from it, but then there's that one person who's sitting at the table, and maybe this is your high energy wedding or high energy, you know, corporate party, or whatever it might be. And then there's one person who's like, oh, I think it's too early in the night for that. Or, you know, so you have to keep all those thoughts in the back of your head.
Yeah. The music thing, again, you already said it. This is why you're doing this. It's, if there was no music, you would definitely notice.
Yes.
That's the big thing. I always notice that when you go into a big party or a reception or something that's going on and it's just people talking, and it kind of almost feels like, what, am I at a flea market here?
Yeah,
like, I don't know. It has this weird kind of,
doesn't have the comfy feeling that you know, that you feel, oh, wow. And you're going up and talking, kind of standoffish type of a thing. If you, it gives that feel.
Yeah, it makes people overthink. Like, what am I doing in this situation? Who should I talk to? Where should I go? What do I, and if there's music playing, then they'll kind of focus on that, and their brain shifts, and they're just kind of there to match that energy and have a good time. So.
This is so fun. Again, this is stuff I never thought about. There are times when no music would probably be best, though, honestly. Like if you're doing some sort of a convention or an expo or something like that, you don't really want music. So you're yelling at people trying to figure out, like, and what do you do on that side of the table? Like you don't need that at that. Okay. I love this because there's a lot of stuff where I was like, it shouldn't be too hard to event plan, but there's a lot of, like, literally every question has come up with something I never would have even thought of.
Well, she's brought up the logistics of everything. Mm-hmm. Making sure that while you don't necessarily want it so structured that you call something off because it's time to go here, we can't be doing this any longer, but you want to have some type of flow. So you have some type of organization and everything works like it's supposed to.
Absolutely.
So what kind of trends are you seeing? I haven't been to piles of weddings, but I've noticed over my 30 plus years of being alive, they've changed a little bit over time. Some people's weddings are different than other people's weddings. What kind of trends are you seeing now compared to maybe what might have been popular then?
So I've noticed we're getting into, like, navy blue is a huge color for this year already. I have several brides looking into, like, the navy blue, accent colors and things like that. But one thing that is huge is I think people want it to be, weddings kind of went from being like, okay, here's your tablecloth color, or, you picked your colors, and then everything was just kind of a stacked compile of colors on that table, whether it be your plates or napkins, silverware, whatever. But everything was just kind of like a different color block aspect. Maybe you had like orange and pink was your colors. And so you had pink napkins, you had orange flowers, and, that was that. Maybe they'd sprinkle some confetti across the table. To now, people are wanting very much realistic settings for weddings. So furniture has become a big thing where people want like these lounging areas that are very like, kind of like conversation pits, where people can kind of lounge and talk, and they want everything to feel more, I would say, homey within a wedding, to where it's not just your standard like banquet tables and, things like that. We're using more realistic pieces, even for food setup. Like I've had a lot of people like want to bring in different, trunks, even like, depending upon their theme, like fill those with different foods and, just try and use really realistic aspects or pieces, I guess, and build those into it just to make it feel more organic, I would say, instead of so put on.
I like that. Organic wedding sounds very, very nice, as opposed to, like, sometimes I just feel like when I go to weddings, I'm so like you said, pinned back, and it's just like, this is the time we're eating and your table goes now. And it's just very, it's almost like we discussed, almost too structured sometimes. Yeah. But again, this is something even if I was getting married, this year, I don't know what, I would have to rely on someone like you. I'd be like, all right, tell me what I need to think about. And then I'll think about it, and then I'll give you an answer after that. So what is something like, if someone like me is listening to this and they're like, yes, we're going to get married, Laramar sounds great, what would be just a couple, like a small checklist you would have for them? Just make sure you're thinking about these 2 or 3 things before you think about, contacting us and being like, let's book it right now. Like what are the things?
Well, no, just book it right now.
Book it.
I would say what your food preference is that's a huge thing. And, if it can be accommodated, which most times we can, I really haven't had any issues with that, but making sure that those food vendors are available for the dates that you want, because that seems to be a bigger thing for people nowadays, is they want to put on a good meal. They want to have, people come and, even if it's a really big, bold charcuterie table or, whatever, like people are just very into that food aspect. So I would say that's a huge one, getting that nailed down. Photographer is always a huge one, making sure that your dates align with that. But really your venue should be your go-to. You book your venue and then everything else builds around that.
I had seen maybe a little blurb about that on your guys' website. It is a very important thing, and if you don't have a venue, then where are you going to go?
Exactly. Because you can have a photographer, you can have your food lined up, you can have all of these things, But if you don't have a venue,
yeah, they're just going to drop it off in your backyard and say good luck.
It's going to make it a lot harder.
This is not on here. Has the food preferences changed over years of weddings?
You used to see a lot of just like the pulled pork, cheesy hash browns, and a lot of people have kind of steered away from that. We work with a huge amount of catering companies, but I've had some really fun weddings this last year for food. We did have one that they did like a large grazing table, and it was gorgeous. And it was just, they started it as a later reception, actually later ceremony. They didn't start until 7:00. And it was just, a place for people to graze and have a snack. It was just more of a fun, more, concerty, higher energy vibe for that. We had a baked potato bar, which was super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was something I never thought of, but I'm like, yes, I love that. Pasta bar too. Like I'm a huge pasta person. So, I'm not anymore, but I love pasta. So that is something that people always, kind of lean towards too.
I love that.
Yeah. Just more of I even had a wedding that had like a family style dinner where everything was kind of plated already. And then, you would be at your table with people and kind of pick from them. That was super cool.
We did that for Kinsey's wedding. It was family style because we had such a big crowd and two levels, and we did it, and they were served in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
because it was so
much
fast.
Easier.
Yeah, and everybody enjoyed it, and they got all kinds of more food than they would have gotten any other way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so people have something to think about now. And they're going to get married. What's the best way to contact you guys? And let's say they do contact you. What's the booking process for all of this like?
So info@thelaramar.com. That's my email. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And then I, pick your brain for dates, making sure that we have availability. And then we kind of go through our capacity, things like that, to make sure that this is the best fit for you. I always schedule a meeting, schedule a tour. I love to get you in the building and let you see it to make sure that you're, this is what you want, and sit down and talk about everything that we have to offer, because a lot of times if people don't know that this isn't just your typical brick and mortar venue where you walk in and you set up your own, your wedding and everything. We offer linens, we offer decor, we offer a lot of different things to help build your day. So yeah, getting them in the door is the best way to book.
They can also just go to the website, I'm sure. Is the contact information on the website? That'll go to you as well?
Yep.
All right. So if you go to the website, thelaramar.com, if you can't remember the email, the website link is down below as well. Just go there and hit the contact page and start typing away. What's your favorite type of event to plan for? We had talked, weddings, corporate events, etc. But is there one that's like, this is my favorite?
I'd have to say it's the events that I've kind of, when we first started, I had two events in mind that I really wanted to bring to fruition. And that was our Laramar Gala and our Galentine's event. So those are my two that they're my favorite to plan, because it gets me, it allows me to use all my creative freedom. I'm hosting this just for the general public, but also it's something that it's 100% what I want it to be. So it makes it a lot of fun. And the Galentine's is always very female oriented, very, reds, pinks, it's Valentine's-y, but it's all about just celebrating being a woman, which I absolutely love. It's my favorite thing in the world. So
how about the most memorable event? I don't want to put you too much in the hot seat, and I don't want to, throw anyone under the bus and say this one was better than that one. But was there one that was really memorable, maybe because of how it all came together, or maybe because of, by the end of the night, every single person walking out the door said this was the best? I don't, what do you got?
Such a tough one. Just because we've had so many incredible events, but I would say our first year of Fireman's Ball.
Ooh, that's fun.
And we don't necessarily put Fireman's Ball on, but it's a huge test to our capacity. It's a huge test to our employees and their skill sets, and can we serve that amount of people in short times and keep it running and keep everything high energy and avoid conflicts and just make sure that everything is running smoothly throughout the entire building at all times. And it was just kind of it was a huge thing for me because the Fireman's Ball was at the Laramar for so long.
It was.
Yeah.
That's how I remember the Fireman's Ball.
Yeah.
It was always the Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep.
And it was always at the Laramar.
Yes. And fun fact, Chris O'Brien, his parents met his mom was working, I believe, at a diner, and his dad asked her to go to the Fireman's Ball with him.
I've been to that Fireman's Ball maybe the last 3 years in a row I've been. Amazing. It's tons of fun. I absolutely love it. I know I've gone for the last 2 at least. I can't remember if I was there 3 years ago or not, but I absolutely love that event too. That's another one where I was like, I don't have a tux. What am I supposed to, you don't have to dress up that much.
No.
And as a matter of fact, they don't really care if you dress up. Like I came in like jeans and a t-shirt like this, and it was fine. That also accentuated one of my other favorite things about the Laramar was there's places where like you said, if you don't want to be on the dance floor, stuck in the middle of it, you can go upstairs on the balcony and kind of hang out at one of those tables, and there's little spots where you can I'm just going to duck away a little bit to that front bar area, yes. that little breakaway room. That's another great place to kind of just duck away to if you need a little breather, get away from the people and kind of just talk one-on-one to somebody or something like that. I always loved that about that venue, as far as it feels so accommodating. There's something there for everybody. If you want to go up front, you can go up front. If you want to hang out in the back of the ballroom, you can. If you want to, hang out at the front bar, if you want to go upstairs and kind of just sit at a table and be by yourself, you do that too. I just love this, that part about the venue. I don't know.
So have you had the opportunity to check out the Plamor Lounge?
I actually have, yes. I've been up there a few different times, and it is amazing up there too. I will say the coolest part about, there's a lot of cool parts about it. Very accommodating, the bartenders. I will say that because I don't often drink alcohol. And if you go up there and you're like, these look fancy, I want one. Can I get one without alcohol? Absolutely. They know how to do it. So it's really kind of cool that you guys have joined forces up there. You got the Plamor upstairs now. Yes. And there are, a couple bathrooms up there at the Plamor too. So if you're up at the Plamor, you don't have to go all the way down the stairs and go down to the bathroom either. So it's right there.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool space. And of course, pulling back to the history of the building, we came up with that name because it was once a name of the Laramar. Yes. And then we kind of came up with the slogan, work hard, play more, because we wanted it to be just kind of an after work spot that you can go, you can relax. It's low key. You don't have to worry about, getting in any trouble. It's just very comfortable, nice place to have a drink.
Well, I think you need to explain that a little bit more about what that is, because it's a totally different concept.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes. So very much a speakeasy vibe. So It's kind of one of those things I like a little bit of mystery marketing. That's kind of fun for me because people will ask questions and people are inherently nosy. So if they don't know about something, they are going to figure it out. And that's part of the thrill of the chase, I think. And so that's kind of the fun thing about the Plamor is, people are starting to hey, where is that place at? I've never heard of it. And if you're in the Laramar, just average times, you would never even know what's there. Yeah. I mean, it just kind of, hides back in the corner. It's just a little escape room, and I love it. It's been a very, very fun build. It was something we had planned out for about, year 5, maybe year 10, and then things just kind of happen. It's like, okay, here we are. We're going on year 3, and we've got it done. We made it happen. So it's been a huge deal, but it's a members only bar, so. For a single membership, it's $35 a month. You get 2 free drinks. And for a dual membership, it's $55 a month. You get 4 free drinks. So that really kind of eats a lot of the cost of the membership. But it's just to kind of keep it so it's people honoring, our rules, our regulations as far as being up there, sticking to a dress code, not in the sense that you have to dress, you don't need to wear a ball gown and a tux, but, just make sure that you're not in your sweats and, pajamas. Stocking cap and pajamas, got slippers on. No, we just want it to be an atmosphere that it's people are happy to be here. They're happy to interact with people. And we really want it to be a place of conversation, not just your head down on your phone, because you see that a lot now when you're out. People are just so engaged in other things instead of interacting with people. And it's become a place where a lot of good connections are made. And, I've met a lot of people through it that then in turn, like we find out that we have so much in common. Like a couple weeks ago I was there and one of our members who is like, he's absolutely amazing. He loves being there. He promotes the place all the time. And he's like, hey, I actually know your dad. And then he's telling everybody, hey, you know her dad. We all went to school together. And, just making all these little connections of times where we would have met and things like that. And that doesn't happen as much anymore. You don't see that as much just anywhere else because people, have been taken over by the cell phones a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say the mission accomplished. Every time I've been up there, I've been off my phone for the most part and kind of just interacting either with the people that are there. You guys have had a live music up there. Very acoustic live music, which fits the bill perfectly. It's not somebody with loudspeakers blasting music in your ears. It might as well just be somebody on the other side of the room talking. It's very, very nice. For people that don't know, I will also say there's a hidden room at the Plamor. And if you need more information on that, go to laramar.com, find the Plamor page, and experience it for yourself. It's one of those types of things. It's
you have to see it for yourself.
It's really kind of fun. Somebody was just like, go over there and pull on that thing, and it's just like, oh, this is wild. Okay, cool, nice. So there's some fun stuff up there. The Laramar is a great place. I will say you guys have done wonders with it. I am, almost 40-ish. I do recall 20-ish years ago when it was kind of, I don't want to say rough and tumble, but it was, like you said, it had almost like a dive bar feel, and now it's the opposite, and I absolutely love it. When there's events going on there, it's great to know that I will fit in there and go in there, and it's just such a fun place. I do have 2 more questions, real quick ones. Dream event. If you could host a dream event, what would it be?
Oh, I would love to have a dance night that is wall to wall packed. Like I want to see that entire dance floor filled with line dancers, swing dancers, whatever it may be. But that is one of the things that we've tried to bring back. That was the slogan for years is dance and stay young. That used to be on the old sign that we have up in the Plamor now.
Love that too, by the way.
And so then we've kind of restructured that. And now our new slogan is through all of life's events, dance and stay young. Since we host a series of different events and we're not just a ballroom. So that is one thing, like just getting people back out. Nobody dances anymore. And that is something like I remember watching Urban Cowboy was one of my dad's favorite movies. And
nice.
they are at a dance hall a lot in that movie. And I just remember thinking like, gosh, that would be so cool. Like, where do you go and just do that? Like whether it be line dancing, swing dancing, whatever. Well, now I have the place and I want to make it happen. So it's finding the people to step out of their comfort zone, realize that we're all here to have fun and relax. And dancing is a great, source of just moving your body, but also, just interacting with people and just fun. It is so much fun.
Absolutely. All right. So as we get close to the end of this podcast, I ask everyone the same question. Is there a time in your life where marketing impacted you and you possibly didn't know it until afterwards? This could also lean into what you said, kind of just understated marketing sometimes is the best marketing. I'll give you some information, not enough.
Yeah.
So you have to go back and ask me for more.
Yes.
If it piques your interest, I love that kind of stuff. But is there a time where marketing has impacted you in your life and you're like, oh, I guess I never really looked at it like that?
I would say, different things. That being one of them, like that kind of mystery marketing. Like I really, really love that aspect of it, but also realizing that like social media marketing is such a niche. It's such a niche. Like you have to really, really know what you're doing in order to make it happen, because it doesn't happen just by making a Facebook post. You can make a Facebook post every single day of the week. That doesn't mean anybody's going to see it. You have to find your group of people to share, and branch that out and bleed it out and have like faithful followers, or your basically window of visual gets kind of shut down, especially like on Facebook. They want you to pay for their marketing.
Yes, they do.
You can get around it.
Yes.
I'm living proof of that. You can get around it. You just have to find the people and find the support system, which luckily in the town of Fort Dodge, we are so blessed to have. We have a lot of great support.
You brought up a really good point. That's something that we've discussed with a lot of people here, where they think, well, I made one Facebook post. That's good enough, right? It's like, no, one's not good enough. Maybe if you made a couple a day for a few weeks, maybe your intended audience would see it. But again, like you said, sometimes it's just, you go look at this and it's like, not even 5% of the people that follow my page got to even see this.
Exactly.
And that's where they're trying to get you with ads. But there are tricks around it. You just gotta spend time doing it. And some people don't want to spend the time doing it. And that's what,
when they call us.
Yeah, that's when marketing places are for, But yeah, having that group of people that are there to support you 100%, even if it is just with a share or a comment or a like, it goes a long ways.
It does. It makes the world a difference. Like, it's even something we talk about like in our group chat, like, oh my gosh, did you see how many shares this post got today? Like, our bartenders even love it because they know that if people are seeing these events, that means they're going to have more people to serve, which that's
tips.
what we want.
Yeah, bingo.
They might be in it for the tips. I don't know. I think they just do it for me.
Okay.
People are working for money. Where's this happening
Crazy
at?
talk.
I'll do it. No problem, Sadie. You don't have to pay me at all.
Volunteer bartenders. Yes.
Volunteer bartend. I love it. Well, if you want to volunteer bartend at the Laramar, no, I was kidding. I do want to say, if you haven't been to the Laramar in the last, 4, 5, 6 years, you absolutely have to go. It's different, but it still has that classic vibe. This is still a ballroom.
Yes.
This is still a place where there's a lot of history in here, and you guys were able to capture that while changing it enough to make it look updated, which is not an easy task.
I like to tell people it's still the Laramar, but it's the better version of the Laramar. You know, it's just, it's shined up. It's gotten a little prettier over the years instead of she's aging like a fine wine.
Yes. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah. So if there's ever an event there, especially like any public event, you're like, I don't know, maybe I should, maybe just go to check it out. That's all I'm saying. Just go to check it out. One of my favorite things to do is go to venues and just be like, all right, I'm here. I spent an hour here. I'm ready to go home. I'm going home. You know, I don't have to stay there all night, but it's definitely worth going to the event to check it out. It's such a fun place. Upstairs, the downstairs, like I said, that front bar area is really cool. I mean, we basically mentioned everywhere. I've actually played a show at the Valor, believe it or not. So I've gotten, the backstage treatment before too. It's kind of cool. We were there early enough in the day that I actually got a tour as well. So that was kind of neat. So this is super cool. If you've never been there, thelaramar.com, check it out. If you've never been, go wow yourself. Check it out upstairs. If you like fancy drinks, the Plamor is literally the place to be. It is like, if you, not that anywhere else can't do it, but if you're just not like a whiskey and cola guy, that's the place to go. They'll get you something. And that's my other favorite thing is, since I don't drink very much, I can go up there and be like, I want something kind of like this. They know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
I don't even ask what it was when I'm done. I'm just like, yeah, it was good.
Yes.
One more of those, please.
Yep. And they'll remember. Like, they're great about that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool spot.
Believe it or not, we had Ellie on here before, and she works upstairs at the Plamor now, which is perfect.
That was a great episode. Yeah. That was so much fun talking to her and hearing how she makes her own syrups and comes up with the different drinks and plans things around a theme, and it really, I love seeing that type of thing in our community. Something totally different, something that you can really go and just have a good time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
She's a perfect fit for the Plamor. So if you guys, again, you haven't checked it out, go check it out. All the links are down below. Sadie, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you. It was fun.
Well, we've got one more thing for you.
Okay.
We have Buster the Bulldog.
Okay.
And we are bulldogs to get your business digitally, so everybody finds you. But we also want to wish you the best of luck. So we ask you to rub Buster's head.
Of course.
And all the best to you, and good luck at the Laramar.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026, or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.